guys. How are you? It is John C. Morley here, serial entrepreneur. It's great to be with you on a Sunday early evening here on the Inspirations for Your Life show. It's so great to be with you. Our master topic for the week, which just kicked off yesterday, is the power to change. Life is already in your hands. And the granular topic for today is Everyday Heroes, Ordinary People, Extraordinary Impact, Series 4, Show 29, Episode number 2. Welcome, everyone. If you're new here, I want to definitely extend a warm welcome to you. If you're coming back, well, of course, welcome back to you. Maybe you want to grab yourself something like some RO water like I have. I have some fruit snacks here. Feel free to do that and head on back. If you're new, definitely check out BelieveMeAchieve.com after the show, of course. Got a lot of great stuff to share with you. And let's get this kicked off, all right? Okay. So, a big welcome, like I said, to everyone. Welcome back to another purposeful, driven episode of the Inspirations for Your Life podcast. And I'm your host, serial entrepreneur, podcast coach, video producer, engineer, graduate student, and a lot more. And I want to welcome you to today's show, where we're stepping into the world of unsung champions. These aren't celebrities or millionaires. They're the everyday folks you pass on the street. You sit next to them in the cafes, or they teach your children. They don't have capes, but their actions ripple through our lives every day, changing communities one meaningful step at a time. In this heart-centered episode, I'm going to explore how seemingly ordinary people are making extraordinary impacts through mentorship, innovation, compassion, and, of course, consistency. So get ready, everyone, to be inspired, because you could be the next everyday hero someone needs. So stay tuned. All right, guys. So number one, ordinary people can create powerful change in their communities. Now, you might not think you can because you don't have a cape or because you don't have a big name yet. That you can't, but really you can. Change doesn't always start with a headline or a hashtag. It often begins with a small step you take, like by caring for someone. Everyday heroes are people who see a problem and decide not to wait for someone else to fix it, whether it's organizing a cleanup, mentoring a young person, or lending a hand to a neighbor. Their consistent actions spark long-term transformations. And this episode shines the light on those individuals who remind us that extraordinary impact doesn't require, well, status. It requires true heart and persistence. Number two, a teacher mentors students after school boosts graduation rates. Meet the educator who turned a classroom into a safe haven of growth. After noticing some of her students falling behind, this dedicated teacher created an after-school mentorship program. She volunteered her own time, connected students with peer mentors, and built a culture of accountability and encouragement. The result? Well, a significant increase in graduation rates and self-confidence. Her story is powerful and an important reminder that investing time in others, especially youth, can shape futures and immeasurable ways that we didn't even know about. Number three, a local gardener grows food for families facing food insecurity. In a neighborhood struggling with access to fresh produce, one local gardener turned abandoned lots into a thriving community set of gardens. With just a few seeds and a vision, she grew more than just vegetables. She grew hope. Her initiative now supplies dozens of families with health food and has become a hub for connection and education. Her story teaches us that nourishment, both physical and emotional, can sprout from the soil of service. A single parent offers free STEM workshops for underserved youth. When a single parent with a background in tech saw local kids without access to STEM education, he didn't complain. He created. Using borrowed space and donated equipment, he launched a series of weekend robotics and coding workshops. The impact? Kids who had never touched a computer are now exploring careers in engineering and technology. This everyday hero shows that when passion meets purpose, entire futures can be rewritten. Number five, guys, small actions plus big hearts equal real community impact. It's easy, folks, very easy to believe that only one big donation or large scale programs can make a difference. But this episode reminds us otherwise. A heartfelt gesture, a meal delivering a ride, um, a mentorship call return can ripple outward with incredible effect. These small, consistent actions build a culture of care and accountability, often sparking long term transformation in communities that need it most. Number six, one person's kindness inspires others to get involved. Kindness, guys, is contagious. When one person steps up, others often follow. Listeners will hear how one act of service inspired neighbors, friends, and even strangers to contribute in their own way, whether it's volunteering time, donating resources, or launching new initiatives. These ripple effects illustrate the goodness multiplies, and one light can illuminate a whole room. And I think that's important to understand. Number seven, innovation thrives even with limited resources. Everyday heroes often work without funding or infrastructure, but that doesn't stop them. In fact, limitations often become the mother of invention. From, let's say, using recycled materials to leveraging online tools, these change makers show how creative problem solving can lead to sustainable solutions. It's not about what you have, it's about what you do with what you have. Number eight, collaboration, guys, builds sustainable change. No hero acts alone. Behind every impactful story is a web of support, collaboration, and community. In this episode, I'm highlighting how teamwork amplifies effort, turning solo ideas into community movements. From students to seniors, these heroes involve others in their missions, ensuring that their work not only succeeds, but it endures. You don't need a cape to be a hero. Okay? The powerful quote threads through every story. These individuals didn't wait for the perfect timing, ideal funding, or public recognition. They simply acted, and in doing so, they became the kind of heroes our world desperately needs. They are proof that heroism is not a title, it's a mindset and a commitment to show up for others. Number 10, call to action. Start where you are, use what you have, and do what you can. After today's episode, I challenge you to look around your community and ask, what small thing can I do today to help someone else? You don't need a grant, a platform, or permission. All you need is a sincere intention and the action. Whether it's checking on a neighbor, tutoring a student, or starting a local cleanup, you have the power to create extraordinary impact. The next everyday hero might just be you. So I know you're probably saying, well, John, I don't know. I'm not very notable. Well, see, you don't realize that something you do for someone that can make an impact can really make a very, very big difference. So whenever I challenge people to do things, they're like, well, John, I don't know how to do that. And that's always a cop out, right? I don't know how to do that. And so you might be saying, John, like, what do I do? I don't know. I think that becomes a little bit challenging for some, but they use that as a cop out. So here's the part of the show I love. I love the whole show, but I love this part. So I'm going to give you a personal story or lesson for each point today. Okay. And it is my hope, guys, that this will solidify in your brains the desire to want to make positive change in the world. Change starts with one thing, you. You don't need a big budget. You don't need a whole team behind you. You need a desire. That's what you need. Okay. I think it's important. And it's important to realize, what this means. And I know you're probably saying that things are crazy, right? Um, I think most people don't realize what's happening. They don't realize that the impact that they have on a society is really priceless, because they might not actually see the impact like in real time. And I think that's what demotivates some people, because they don't see the impact in real time. All right. So let's get into these. All right. So, number one, ordinary people can create powerful change in their communities. I once met a man, I'll call him Carlos, at a local cafe. He wasn't a CEO or a public speaker. He was a janitor at a nearby school. But when his neighborhood was hit by a flood, he took it upon himself to organize a cleanup set of crews using nothing but a clipboard and community bulletin board. Every morning, he'd rally neighbors, assign tasks, and bring coffee. Within 2 weeks, streets were cleared, homes were stabilized, and a sense of unity was born, all because Carlos decided not to wait for someone else. See, the most powerful part is this: he didn't want recognition. When I asked him why he did it, he simply said because it needed to be done. Carlos showed me that community change doesn't need to start big. It starts with someone who sees a need and shows up with love, humility, and determination. Number two, a teacher mentors students after school boosts graduation rates. Back in high school, I had a teacher named Mrs. Reynolds. She taught English, but more importantly, she taught self-worth. She started an after-school reading and mentoring group, not for extra credit, but because she noticed certain students didn't have support at home. And, I was actually one of them. I struggled with some of the things in school, and I was very grateful to other people in a similar situation and a place that we could make new friends and that we could learn. But she encouraged me to write and to keep persisting and to present them to our group. Years later, I ran into her at a community event, and I told her I knew a lot of people, and now that I host a podcast, I have you to thank for it. Tears welled down her eyes. She said, "John, you had it in you all along. You just needed a safe space to grow." That's exactly what she said. Our after school group helped dozens of kids, including me, graduate otherwise might not have been as easy. Her belief in us changed our trajectories forever. A local gardener grows food for families and facing food insecurity. During a local community fair, I met Tasha, a retired nurse who transformed a vacant city lot into a thriving vegetable garden. She started small with a few tomato plants and raised beds, but soon word spread. Volunteers joined the community, pitched in. Every weekend, she'd offer free produce to families who could afford fresh food, often including recipe cards she made by hand. She told me her mission wasn't just to feed people, it was to nourish their dignity. I love that. "Quote unquote, food is love," she said. And quote, "and everyone deserves both." Quote, that garden became a sanctuary, not just for food, but for connections, healing, and empowerment. Tasha taught me that even dirt and determination can blossom into a movement. That's amazing. So, number four, a single parent offers free STEM workshops for underdeserved youth. One of the most inspiring people I've interviewed was Marcus, a single dad and a former software engineer. After losing his job, he realized how few kids in his neighborhood had access to computers or STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. And so, using his severance and a few donated laptops, he started, quote unquote, Saturday Code Club in the basement of a local church. Kids poured in, eager to build robots, learn HTML, and tinker with microchips. Within a year, one of his students won a scholarship to a STEM magnet school. Marcus didn't have a budget, a board, or a curriculum. He just had passion, skill, and a drive to see kids succeed. His story proves that when you match purpose with resourcefulness, miracles flow. Number 5, small actions plus a big heart equals real community impact. There's a man named George who lived in my town, and he walks dogs for the elderly neighbors for free. It started with one woman who had a hip injury. George offered to walk her golden retriever. Another neighbor asked, and another, now he's known as the dog guy, often seen with 5 leashes and a giant grin. George told me it's not about dogs, it's about dignity. I'm helping people live their lives. That small act of service reduced isolation, improved pet care, and even led to an informal neighborhood watch. George reminded me that community isn't built on grand gestures. It's built on those small, consistent kindness steps that sometimes are forgotten. Number 6, one person's kindness inspires others to get involved. I think these are amazing things, and this is a really good story that I have. During a winter storm, a teen named Rachel posted on her neighborhood app offering to shovel snow for free. Her post inspired others to join. By the next day, 20 volunteers were clearing paths for elderly residents and people with disabilities. The Snow Squad, they were called. And they became a successful seasonal staple. I interviewed Rachel a while back and asked what made her do it. She said, quote, "I just couldn't watch my neighbor struggle again this year," close quote. Her simple act sparked a chain reaction. The Snow Squad eventually expanded into food deliveries and wellness checks. One act of kindness lit a spark that created a moment and movement that was never conceived before. Number 7, innovation thrives even when there's limited resources. In a small rural town, I met Lisa, who was a high school student. Actually, and also now the person is a high school art teacher. Actually, they were a student, but they became an art teacher, who ran out of funding for supplies. Instead of canceling her class project, she got creative, literally. She organized a junk art program, teaching students to turn recyclables into sculptures. Old soda cans became cityscapes. Broken chairs became photo frames. Her students not only learned artistic techniques, but developed problem-solving skills and eco-awareness. This was really amazing. One of them even entered their sculpture into a statewide competition and won. Lisa's ability to innovate, okay, under pressure shows us that creativity blooms under constraints when guided by a committed heart. Columbia builds sustainable change. And the collaboration itself with this helped make this take forward. A local LGBTQ plus support group once needed a new venue after their community center lost funding. Instead of folding, they reached out to local churches, businesses, and schools. Surprisingly, a coffee shop owner offered her space for free. A yoga instructor donated classes. A retired counselor joined as a volunteer. Soon, the group grew beyond anything they had imagined. What started as a potential crisis became a powerful collaboration, and the group's reach tripled. This taught me that when we ask for help and unite toward a shared mission, the right people always step forward. Number 9. You don't need a cape to be a hero. Many people think you do, but you don't. I know television has taught us that from the cartoons, whether it's Superman or any other hero. You don't need a cape. Okay. I met an elderly man named Hank who would sit outside the post office and wave at every person who walked by, rain or shine. He was there greeting people with warmth and sincerity. At first, many brushed him off, but eventually people started stopping to chat. He became a town favorite. Hank never volunteered for a nonprofit, started a program, or made the news. But when he passed, hundreds came to his funeral, each sharing how Hank's simple hello got them through dark times. Hank was proof that you don't need a title or a trophy, just consistency and kindness be someone's hero. Number 10, guys. Call to action. Start where you are. Use what you have and do what you can. Let me say that again. Call to action. Start where you are. Use what you have and do what you do. Start where you are. Use what you have and do what you can do. There was a time in my own life when I felt stuck, unsure of my purpose. I didn't have a large platform or huge network at the time, but I had a message and a microphone. So I started, this podcast. It began with a few listeners, and then a few more. And soon I started hearing from people saying it helped them through anxiety, career changes, and loss. See, that's when I realized impact isn't measured by scale, it's measured by sincerity. If you are waiting for the perfect moment or the resource to make a difference, stop right now. Start with what you have. Okay? You never know whose life you'll change when you simply take that first step. I think when we hear the definition, if we go up to actually Merriam-Webster, which is where I'm going to go to, Merriam-Webster, and I look up what a hero is, which is what I want to bring to you right now. So according to Merriam-Webster, a hero is a noun. It's a mythological or legendary figure, often of divine descent, endowed with great strength or ability and sometimes powers. An illustrious warrior, a person admired for achievements and noble qualities, one who shows great courage. And when we think about hero is a legendary priestess of an Aphrodite loved by a Leander. And so a synonym of a hero, this might help you guys a little more, an idol, a classic, an ideal, a non-pareil, an icon, a model, a paragon, a ideal, a god, an icon, an exemplar, right? I think a lot of people want to be a hero, but not for the reason that hero exists. Hero exists to make our world a better place, okay? But a hero doesn't exist to put you, unfortunately, at the top of the map. That's not why a hero exists, all right? A hero exists for the reasons that I'm sharing with you. The reason that you can basically make this difference in your life. And I know that sounds like something that's really, really crazy, okay? But I'm here to tell you that it can do a lot for you, okay? It can absolutely do a lot for you. Sometimes people don't get it. They don't get what it's for. They just don't really understand what it means. And I think that's probably something that a lot of people will flounder over. Like, what is this about? What is it not about? I think that's a challenge for a lot of people. They don't necessarily know why something is happening a certain way. They just have really no idea. And maybe it's the idea that is keeping people from doing something. Maybe it's the fact that we want to be something, but we don't exactly know what it is. All right. And I know that can sound, a little bit crazy, but I'm here to tell you that it is absolutely doable. All right. And so when you think about like where your world is right now, and you think about the fact of where it could be tomorrow, all because you decided to take one small step. That's it. One small step. That's it. One small step. And I know you're probably telling me, John, like, this makes sense, but then again, it doesn't make sense, right? And I want to tell you that there is a lot of potential in people when you think about things. But again, it's not something that happens overnight. It's something that really takes time. Okay. I think that's an important piece. I think the more people think about that, the more that they can have the potential of going somewhere in life. Okay. I know you're probably saying to me, John, like, this stuff isn't possible. I'm here to tell you that it is very, 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 very possible. Okay. I mean, very, very possible. You might say to me, John, that, this is great, but then how do you make a change from that? How do you go from somewhere? Like, how do you change where you're going from? I think that's a very, very, like, different thing. How do you move from one step to another? I think that will probably confuse a lot of people, right? How do we how do we do that? And that's probably the biggest thing I could tell you right now is that it's all about what you're seeing, what you're doing. But when you have a purpose for something, that's when the world is going to take off and support you. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. Do check out BelieveMeAchieve.com for more of my amazing, of course, inspiring creations. I'll catch you real soon. Be well, everyone. And remember, you too can be a hero. Just because you don't wear a cape doesn't mean anything.